It started the same way it always starts, quietly, just a sound, soft enough to ignore. I remember the exact moment. It was a Thursday night around 2 a.m. I had just finished brushing my teeth and was walking back to bed when I heard something shift above me. Not a creak, not the house settling. It was a dragging sound, slow, like something heavy being pulled across the beams of the attic. I live in a modest one-story house on the outskirts of Helena, Montana. It's isolated enough that you don't hear cars at night. No kids, no neighbors stomping through hallways, just wind and your own thoughts. I stood there, frozen, staring up at the ceiling. It was faint, but I heard it again. Scrape. Pause. Scrape. I told myself it was just an animal. A raccoon maybe, or a bird. Nothing worth worrying about. I went to bed and convinced myself it was nothing. But that same sound came again the next night, and the night after that. And every night that followed, each time it grew just a little louder, a little closer. Then 4 nights in, the dragging stopped, and I heard footsteps. 2 distinct, bare footsteps, slow and deliberate, moving from one end of the attic to the other. I stared at the ceiling for over an hour, listening. Back and forth, back and forth. It didn't sound like an animal. It didn't even sound like a burglar. It sounded like pacing, measured, calm, human. But that didn't make sense. There's no flooring in the attic, no way to walk without crashing through the drywall, just beams, dust, and insulation. I should have left right then. I should have called someone. But instead, I told myself I was overreacting, that I'd just imagined it. The next day, I pulled down the attic ladder and climbed up, flashlight in hand. I scanned every corner. Nothing. No signs of life, not even a mouse. Just still air and darkness. And then in the far corner, nestled beneath a beam, I found a single object. A cassette tape. No label, no case. Just the tape itself, dusty and old. I don't own a cassette player, never have. I left it where it was and backed down, heart racing. That night, it spoke to me. At exactly 3:12 a.m., I was lying in bed when I heard the sound of the attic hatch opening. I didn't get up, didn't even move. Then I heard it. A voice. From the hallway. "Eli, are you awake?" It was my mom's voice. She sounded like she always did when I had nightmares as a kid. Calm, comforting, just outside the door. I didn't respond. Because my mom lives in Oregon, she hadn't been to my house in over a year, and she would never come in through the attic. The voice came again. "I got in early. I didn't want to wake you. Can you come open the door?" It sounded so real, so perfect. But then I noticed something. She always calls me Bug. Ever since I was little. Not Eli. Never Eli. The voice paused, then repeated the exact same words in the exact same tone. "I got in early. I didn't want to wake you. Can you come open the door?" Like a recording. Like it was practicing. I stayed in bed until morning, barely breathing. The next day, I checked the attic again. It was exactly as I left it, except now, the cassette tape was gone. I tried telling a friend about it. Mark, from work. He's a grounded guy, no-nonsense techie type. He laughed, told me to check for carbon monoxide. But then I played him a voice memo I'd recorded during the night. The moment he heard it, his face changed. "What the hell?" he muttered. Because the voice on the recording wasn't just any voice. It was his wife's. Word for word, pleading, asking him to open the door. But his wife had died last year. Car crash. Instant. He didn't say another word after that. He left my house, shaking, and didn't answer any of my texts afterward. That was the last time I saw him. I started sleeping with earplugs after that, then a white noise machine, then music. It didn't help, because the voice found other ways. I'd find sticky notes on the mirror in the morning, written in my own handwriting. Things like, "Don't be afraid. We're almost ready. Open the door, Eli." I didn't write them. Then came the photos. One on the floor by the bed, one tucked in the freezer, one pressed flat beneath my pillow, all Polaroids, all of me. Sleeping. Taken from slightly different angles, some from above, like they were taken from the ceiling. One of them showed me with my eyes open. But I don't remember waking up. And in the photo, I'm smiling. That's when I stopped sleeping altogether. I started hallucinating, seeing shapes in reflections, faces staring from windows that weren't there. I started covering the mirrors in my house with towels, then the windows. I even painted over the reflective surface of my microwave. But none of it helped, because it was never about reflections. It was about me, about what was watching me, about what was learning. One night I walked into my bedroom and froze, because standing in front of my bed facing the corner was a figure. Same build, same clothes, same posture as me. It didn't turn, it didn't speak. But as I reached for the light switch, it began to mimic my breathing. Exactly. In, out. Shaky, perfectly in sync. I turned on the light, and it was gone. Just gone. Nothing there. But the feeling didn't leave. That crawling sensation that something knows you better than you know yourself. That it's watching not to hurt you, but to replace you. That was the night I ran. I packed a bag and drove until the gas light came on. Slept in the car, woke up to the sound of knocking on the windshield. But there was no one there. Just a note, tucked beneath the wiper. We're still with you. I haven't been home in over 2 weeks, but the voices are following me now. Sometimes I hear them through vents, sometimes in static, sometimes from behind doors that should be locked. They speak in my voice now. They say things I've never said, but they sound real. They sound like someone who's lived as me longer than I have. Sometimes I dream about a version of my house where I never left, where I opened the attic door, and there's someone living my life now. Someone that looks like me, sounds like me, answers my phone, goes to my job, someone who doesn't know they aren't me anymore. I think that's how it works. It mimics until it becomes, and by the time anyone notices, it's already too late. So if you ever hear your name in the middle of the night, if it's coming from above you, from the attic, from behind a sealed door, don't respond, don't speak, don't listen. And whatever you do, don't open the attic, because it doesn't want to haunt you, it wants to be you.